Alright, what's up everyone? This is NinjaDeathStrike bringing you another Pokemon Black and White Wi-Fi battle. My opponent this time is Psychic White Tiger, who I faced before in this series, but I decided to put this one up as well since it was a really great battle with a lot of prediction. She's using a different team and she's leading with Solipede. I lead with Hate, and I can't stay in since I'll be outsped, but luckily I have a perfect counter for Solipede. Really nothing it can do can hurt Crow, so I switch right into him. And knowing that she can't stay in, I take this opportunity to set up my Stealth Rocks. And in comes Hydreigon. Now, I'm going to go out to Nike here, the Gastrodon, and since she only got up one layer of Toxic Spikes, I won't be taking accumulating poison damage, which will be really helpful for stalling if I need to later. And she goes for Draco Meteor. It does just under half, leading me to believe that she's probably Choice Scarfed. And so I know she's going to have to switch out here, and I'm going to take that opportunity to just recover up and get right back to near full health. She brings in a Jirachi, and Jirachi is a really, really great Pokemon in this metagame, especially because it can do so many different things, and I can't really guess what it's going to do until I see some of its moves, so I stay in, just go for the Earth Power, figuring if it goes for sub, I'll at least be able to break that. But she shows me that this is a dual screen Jirachi, and so this next turn I'm going to predict her to go for Reflect, and I'm going to just stay in and go for Earth Power again. But she actually U-turns out and goes back into Hydreigon, so Levitate's going to activate and Earth Power is going to miss. That was a nice play by Tiger, and I know though that I can take any attack that this thing is going to throw at me, so I just stay in and go for Recover. So that if she does Draco Meteor again, I can recover off the damage and force her to switch again. But she chooses to go for Dark Pulse this time, and seeing how little it did, I'm going to predict her to switch out here. And so I'm going to switch out and go into Sinbad, my Thundurus. But she decides to stay in and go for Dark Pulse again, I guess, looking for the flinch. And that's actually going to end up costing me big because, as you can see now, it's definitely Scarfed. It outspeeds Thundurus, and he goes down before he gets to do anything because of a misprediction on my part. So sorry about that. But since she's locked into Dark Pulse, I can bring in Lennon, who resists, and set up a free bulk up. And now Gengar comes in, which is great for me because I know from full health, or nearly full health, I'll be able to survive an attack from it. And if it goes for Substitute, that'll be okay because I'll at least be able to break its sub and then switch out. But she just goes for a Shadow Ball, and then Payback is absolutely going to just demolish it. So her fastest Pokemon outside of Hydreigon goes down right there in one hit, and that's going to make things a lot easier for my team later. So that was a really great play for me. She's going to bring in Celebi next, and I'm just going to stay in and go for Payback in case she wants to do anything cute, try to set up or set up a sub or anything like that. I just want to make sure that I can get in a free switch without having any problems. So I bring in Hate, and I go for Trick, and then immediately Facepalm because I realize that I have not put the correct item on my Latios. I tricked her leftovers. I was supposed to have Specs, but didn't check my items before the battle, so that's what you get for coming unprepared. I completely waste a turn and take a buttload of damage as she U-turns out. Jirachi comes in, and I'm going to switch out, go to Crack His Whack, as she U-turns again, so goes for a double U-turn there, which is nice, and brings in Hydreigon again. So here, even though I know I'm going to die, I'm going to stay in and go for Stun Spore, since paralyzing that Hydreigon will really, really cripple it. It's going to make it a lot easier to take out later. So I'm willing to trade my Crack His Whack for the ability to slow down that Hydreigon so that now I can really take my time and deal with it how I want to. She chooses to lock herself into Flamethrower, meaning Hate can come back in for free and go for an attack. I just go for... I go for Surf. Thought I went for Draco Meteor. I go for Surf, predicting her to switch. And Jirachi comes in and takes not a lot of damage, probably less than a fourth. But it's still going to be a 2-hit KO from that point, so I'm going to stay in, go for it again. And now I'm going to go for Surf again because I wasn't positive that Dragon Pulse would kill it. Even though I figured she would probably want to switch in Hydreigon, I couldn't risk not killing that Jirachi if she decided to stay in. But she does, in fact, go to Hydreigon, and now it gets back to full health because I chose to play it safe. So that was definitely not the best move, but I was a little worried, and I really wanted Jirachi dead. It's not a big deal in the end, though, since Nike can take whatever it wants to throw at me. She decides to go for Flamethrower, probably predicting Skarmory to come in on the Dragon attack, but that works out great for me because that doesn't do hardly anything, and now I'm free to do whatever I want. I predict her to bring Celebi in here, so I'm going to go for Ice Beam to get a decent amount of damage, but it doesn't do a whole lot. Nike's special attack isn't great, and Celebi is really bulky. So obviously I can't stay in here. I don't want to take a 4 times effective grass attack. And I don't want to go into Skarmory just in case she's running Hidden Power Fire and predicts that. So I go into Hate since he blocks either. And she goes for Grass Knot, which doesn't do a whole lot. And now I'm free to attack as I please. I choose to go for Dragon Pulse. It does about a third. And U-Turn does just as much to me. But now at least Celebi is almost dead. It shouldn't be a problem to take out later. She U-turns out and goes back into Scolipede, though. And I'm just going to switch Hate right out and go into Crow, my Skarmory, because I know every time this thing comes in, I'm going to go to Crow because it can't hurt me at all. She chooses to go for Megahorn, does less than a quarter, and on a crit. So now I'm just going to go for Brave Bird, since I'll get a decent amount of damage on anything she wants to get in. Jirachi can't come in since it's so low on health. She decides to go into Hydreigon, and I'm going to hit her for just about half. I couldn't tell if this would be a 2-hit KO, and looking at the rest of her team, I absolutely cannot afford to lose Crow. So I'm going to switch him out and just fodder off Nike, since he was already below half health, and he wouldn't have done a whole lot since she still has 2 other grass types. It's time for him to go. And now it allows me to get a free switch. I'm going to bring Hate back in. I believe I go for the Dragon Pulse here. Yeah, since nothing else on her team now resists it except Jirachi, who's going to die since it's at such a low amount of health. So now I still outspeed everything on her team except Scolipede, and I'm not worried about it since it's taking 25% every time it switches in. So she brings it back in and then pulls a double switch, which is really nice. She switches Scolipede out and goes right back into Celebi. And since she knew I was going to go into Crow here, I'm predicting Hidden Power Fire. And I need Crow for later. So again, I can't risk him dying since he's going to be the key to my victory. I have to switch back into Hate since he'll resist both of those attacks, Grass Knot and Hidden Power Fire. But she goes for the Recover, which is not good for me, because now that really bulky Celebi is almost back to full health. Here I'm going to go for Dragon Pulse just to get some damage. Maybe I'll get a crit. I didn't really have anything else to do, and I didn't want anything else to take damage, so I stay in. But she just recovers again, so clearly this is a losing battle for Hate. I can't stay in since she's just going to be able to stall me out. And now I just decide to start going for Psychics, looking for a special defense drop. But I don't get it, and she U-turns out anyhow, so it wouldn't matter if I had. I believe she's going to go, right back into Scolipede again. And again, even though the switch is obvious, I have no choice but to go back into Crow on this next turn because I can't let Latios die yet, and I definitely am going to need Crow. So she predicts that and goes into Hydreigon. She pulls another double switch, but this one definitely wasn't in her favor since as Stealth Rock, as it comes in on Stealth Rock, it's definitely going to be in a range where I'll be able to take it out with another Brave Bird. So now Hydreigon's gone, and she has an unrevealed Virizion, Celebi, and the Scolipede left. So now she's going to choose to bring in Virizion. It's four times weak to flying, so I'm not going to do anything dangerous here. Just going to go for the Brave Bird, and Virizzion's going to take a 4 times effective attack right to the face, and that's an easy OHKO. So I lose a bit of health. I think that was her plan all along, just to make me lose as much health as possible, And now Celebi comes back in. So this is the moment of truth. If she has Hidden Power Fire, this is the turn to go for it. So I'm going to go back to Hate and see what she does. And she goes for Grass Knot. So that means she probably doesn't have Hidden Power Fire, which is awesome news for me since it means that Crow is going to be able to take out both Celebi and Scolipede without any problems. So I end up actually getting a crit here, which definitely mattered in killing the Celebi, but ultimately for the match didn't matter since Crow would have been able to take out Celebi eventually anyhow. And since I had Roost, I could have outstalled it, and eventually I would have either critted it or just worn it down and taken it out. In comes Scolipede one more time. She just goes for Earthquake, I guess, since she knew she was lost. And I'm able to pull out the victory. So that was a really fun match. Close. It was a great game. Stay tuned, guys. I'll have more coming your way shortly.